What's up, tribe? How you guys doing? Go ahead and hit that subscribe button, and I hope you like this video. Listen, this Wendy Williams saga is just never ending, and it's really sad. But we're here to talk about it, so we got to talk about it. News broke today that Wendy Williams' son Kevin Jr. allegedly is being evicted from his $2 million luxury apartment down in Florida. Now, we need to talk about this, okay? So listen. We all know that Wendy Williams and her troubles, and we know about Wells Fargo um, freezing her accounts and eventually her having to go to court and a financial conservator being put over her accounts, right? So we know that that's what happened. But let's go back to the beginning of this. Something alerted Wells Fargo to some issues going on with Wendy Williams' account that concerned them enough that they felt like they had to freeze her accounts and that somebody needed to look out for Wendy Williams, right? Now, the reality is it was probably a series of events. I don't think it was any one event that made them say, oh, whoa, 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 whoa. Now, we've heard that allegedly her husband was trying to get access to her accounts and that he had even actually gone into the bank to try to conduct business as usual. And the bank, of course, knew that he wasn't supposed to have any control over her accounts. Now, since that has happened, we know that he has gone public to say, listen, I'm broke. I need some money. And, so that may not be too far of a cry. We from the truth. We also heard that her son allegedly was trying to use her American Express card, and he was charging up to $100,000. Now, that $100,000 number is important. Now, her son came out and said that he did not use her credit card unauthorized. Now, he never said he ain't tried to use her credit cards. He said that he wasn't doing it without her permission and that he wasn't, like stealing from her, or he wasn't trying to use her account unauthorized. Now, that is important because let's look at this apartment situation. Kevin Jr. was living in a $2 million apartment down in Miami. Um, when he moved into that apartment in 2021, his mother paid the 1 year's rent. Um, she paid his rent for 1 year. That totaled $100,000, give or take a little bit here or there for extra fees and things of that nature. That's very interesting because his lease was up in February of 2022, not too far off from the timeline of when Wells Fargo was like, wait a minute, wait a minute, wait a minute. Something is not clean in the buttermilk, right? It's interesting that the amount that is alleged that her son was trying to access was around the same amount that his 1 year's rent came to. And it would be interesting if he was trying to authorize her credit card to pay his rent, which he probably did have her permission to do. Um, and like I said, I don't think it was any one thing that made Wells Fargo stand up and take notice. I do think it was a series of things. Now, the reality of the situation is, fast forward to where we are today, he's facing potential eviction because we know that Wendy Williams does not have control over her money. At this point, like we talked about yesterday, we sat down with Girl Is That Legal, Simone Redwine, yesterday, and we talked about this. And when you're under a financial conservatorship like what Wendy Williams is under, they will pay your bills, right? So when you have to sit down with them and go over what is your credit card bill, not credit card, put that to the side. What is your mortgage? What is your car note? What is your insurance? What are your utilities, right? But when it comes to incidentals and what we might call play money, that is where the conservatorship can be a little more controlling over what they will and will not pay for. Now, Wendy Williams' representative has come out and said that the son is not being evicted, that is not, there's no hanky panky going on, no bad stuff going on, that it's just that they have to submit the request to the financial conservator and they make the decision as to whether this is an expense that Wendy Williams should or should not pay. It doesn't mean Wendy Williams doesn't have the money. I think Wendy Williams' money is fine. I just think that, and that probably is because she hasn't had control over her money for the last 6 or 7 months. But I do think that the person who has control over Wendy Williams' money is either A, dragging their feet about paying this bill, or B, has told Wendy Williams, we're not paying this. This is not This is not what we're going to do. This is not realistic. Your son is grown. He should be paying his own rent, or maybe he doesn't need to live in a $2 million apartment and not have a job. I mean, this may be part of the conversation. And here's the thing. Some people might say, well, who are they to tell her how to spend her money? It's her money. They're just there to make sure nobody's taking advantage of her. Yes, but that is the risk you run when you put somebody else in charge of your money. Well, she didn't put them. When the court puts somebody else in charge of your money, and when they have the option to make a decision about what you can and can't do with your money. So right now, we don't know. I mean, he is facing possible eviction. That's the information that's out there. But the conservator may be saying, listen, he has to downgrade. Like, we'll pay for him to get an apartment, but he doesn't need an apartment for $2 million where the rent is $100,000 for a year. Maybe he can stay in an apartment that's worth, $500,000 a year, right? So the reality of the situation is this, you guys. This all, I think, in my opinion, this all comes back around to the fact that Wendy Williams does not have control of her money. I do not think it's a matter of her not having the money to pay the bill. I think it's a matter of her having to go through the layer of a conservator that says, hey, we're not paying this. This is excessive. This is unnecessary. Anyway, we'll keep you guys posted. You guys tell me what you think. Drop it in the comments. Peace.